So, practically I experienced for 30 years doing meditation, that is Buddhist meditation, and found up to right now, the Nibbana is the ultimate goal for everybody, not the heaven or Brahma's world. So it is my duty to give you this gift of Dhamma to you all. The middle way is the evidence of the extreme of indulgence in pleasures of the senses and the extreme of tormenting the body. The middle way is the exemplified in the life of the Buddha by his own experience of a life of luxury as a prince, and by the 6 years of vigorous asceticism which he practiced after he left his father's palace, after realizing the futility of these extremes in his own experience. He then hit upon the middle way which avoids these extremes. I do not attack your religion or any religions from my whole heart, but I am friendly asking you not to go to the extremes, whatever the belief, and eschew the blind faith. I know from the beginning it is very hard, but if you really want the truth, the proper way is given by the Buddha. That is, Eighth Noble Path. You need not to change your religion to go on this path. Just think about the life. Physical sufferings are the sufferings of birth, old age, sickness and death. Birth is suffering because of the physical pain suffered by the infant, and because birth impels all the other sufferings. Birth is a sense, is the gateway to the other sufferings of sickness, old age and death, which follow inevitably upon birth. I think one need hardly spend much time on the suffering of sickness, old age and death. Most of us have experience of suffering from sickness, and we have also observed the suffering of sickness in our friends and relatives. We all observe the suffering of death, the pain and the fear experienced by the dying. These sufferings are an inevitable part of life. No matter how happy and contented our lives may be, the sufferings of birth, old age, sickness and death are absolutely unavoidable. In addition to these physical sufferings, there are mental sufferings too. There is the suffering of separation from our loved ones, separation either due to reasons of work or because those whom we love die, or because those whom we love have to go away, or because we have to leave them. Then there is the suffering of contact with those whom we dislike, or those who dislike us. Can take very mild forms, such as a colleague at work who is antagonistic to us, and we dread to go to work because we know that this person whom we dislike somehow always want to find fault with us. Finally, there is the suffering of frustrated desire. When we cannot get what we want, when we cannot get the job, the position that we want, when we cannot win over this or that person, these physical and mental sufferings are woven into the fabric of our existence. But what about happiness? Is there no happiness or enjoyment in life? Of course, there is. But the pleasure or happiness which we experience in life is impermanent. We may enjoy a happy situation. We may enjoy the company of someone we love. we may enjoy youth and health, and yet all these forms of happiness are impermanent. Sooner or later, we will experience suffering. If we really want to do something about suffering, to solve the problem of suffering, we must identify its cause. What is the cause of suffering according to Buddhism? The craving or desire is the great cause of suffering. Craving for pleasant experiences, craving for material things, craving for eternal life. We all enjoy good food, time, fine music, pleasant company. We enjoy all these things and we want more and more of these things. We always try to get more and more of this pleasure. And yet somehow we are never completely satisfied. We may find that we are fond of particular kind of food, and yet if we eat it again and again, get bored with it. We try to another kind of food. We like it, enjoy it and again, and again. We get bored with it. We go on to look for something else. We get tired of our favorite music. We get tired of our friends. We look for more and more. Sometimes this chase after pleasant experience leads to one to extremely negative forms of behavior, such as alcoholism and drug addiction. All of these are craving for satisfaction of our desire for pleasant experiences. Thinking you'd like to go on living for a long time will make you suffer, but thinking you would like to die right away or very quickly is not right either. Its suffering is not conditions that do not belong to us. They follow their own natural laws. You cannot do anything about the way the body is. You can beautify it a little, make it attractive and clean for a while, like a young girl who paint their lips, nails and let their nails grow long. But when old age arrives, everybody is in the same boat. That is why the body is, you can make it any other way. When you can improve and beauty is the mind. What you can improve and beauty is the mind. The proudness, power, position, status, happiness and sufferings are worldly things. These worldly things engulf worldly beings. Worldly beings are led around by the worldly things. Gain and loss, acclaim and slander, status and loss of status, happiness and suffering. These are troublemakers. If you do not reflect on their true nature, you will suffer. Some people even commit murder for the sake of wealth, that is money, status and power. Why? Because they take them too seriously. They get appointed to some position and it goes to their heads, like the man who become a head man of the village. After his appointment, he becomes power drunk. See this Lord Buddha's poem. No one can give you the peace and liberation. You have to find it by yourself. See this poem. Atthai attano nato kohi nato parosya attanada sudattena natang labati dullabam. The meaning is this. One is one's own master. Who else can be your master. If one is well restrained, that is, behave yourself, can be observed, pencil or something like that, that itself becomes